as we continue the face, like I said, we're going to grab a polygon and we're just going to copy it down right above the mouth. So again, we want that as an element. So it's still part of this piece of mesh. It's just currently disconnected. So right now we're going to grab those vertices and slide them forward onto the front of the face. So now we want to bring a center line in here, right over and the center of the nose, center of the lips slightly off. So let's get close. And that looks pretty good. All right, now we know that the center of the lip here is actually slightly back from the ridge. So there's a little ridge right here that goes right up above this corner of the lip. We're going to leave that about there for now. And just how we built around the eye, we're going to continue and build some geometry around the mouth. So I want to have the same idea as what we did with the eye. And as I build around the mouth, I want to think about having that as a concentric ring. So I want my inner edge to stay the inner edge all the way around. And that's about underneath the corner of the nose there. So we want it about underneath the corner of the nose there. Now the next thing we want to do, we want to think about how the flow of the crease that comes from the back corner of your nostril comes down just around the outside corner of your mouth. So I'm going to go to rendering view image file and I'm going to open up this front ref lines so I can look at how that flow should work around the mouth. Now I can zoom out of that and scale this down a bit. If you're working on a second monitor, just kind of keep it up for reference. All right, so now I'm going to take an edge here and an edge underneath the eye. And if we zoom back in here, we'll see. So the one that's above the center of the lip, we want to transition up to the one that's coming right about here. So I'll control click both of those. And then I'm going to use my bridge tool. So the bridge tool is going to allow me to connect between there. I can add segments here if I want to. I don't know exactly how many I'm going to want. But if I count, right, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1 polygon, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 polys. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's about the same if I add 3 segments right there. So we'll commit to that, and then we'll go to vertex, and we'll start to look at how these are somewhat organized in a bit of a different kind of direction here. So I'm going to want this edge to end up transitioning up toward the nostril. And this is going to end up giving me an edge that does flow down around the side of the mouth. So from there we can go and connect from here to here. So again, we'll bridge. And that works. Now I'm just going to grab these two vertices, bring up the weld tool, and then I can snap those together. I can also look at using target weld. So I can click on one vertex, and then I get a rubber band, and I can click on the second vertex, or the vertex that I want to weld it to. Then we just take and start bringing this down. So then we have to look and figure that the flow is going to have to work in both directions. So this one's pretty close to the forward surface of that nose. So we want to start bringing this forward to get everything to flow where we want it to go. So from here we just need to continue to add polys and manipulate where things are sitting on the face. We're going to drag that over, grab vertex, and then we'll target weld the one that we want to move to the one that we want to keep in place. There really is no absolute to any of this. What we really need to pay attention to is the overall flow of the way the polygon structure moves across our object surface. So the smoother we keep that object, or the smoother we keep that surface, the better chance we're going to have of actually getting the surface that we want. Now as we get across the nose here, there's a couple different things that we need to think about. The nostril itself is kind of a bulge or bump that sits up off of the surface of the nose. Then it actually becomes much easier to build that off on its own. So we're going to go back up to the eye, and we're going to shift drag toward the center, and then move toward the front. So as we continue to do that, we'll just get that out of the way. Then we can go back 2 vertices and continue kind of sculpt, getting everything worked out here. So we'll get almost to the center, start bringing those closer to straight, bringing it forward, and getting up to the profile. So now this one, we're going to bring to our center line. And since it's not quite straight, there's a couple options. I can either use the scale trick to scale horizontally, straighten that out, or we can find make planar, and we want it to make planar on the x-axis. So we can hit make planar x, and it straightens it out. And then we can move that over to what we feel like is about the center line. That should be pretty close. Then we'll move it forward. Then from there, I'm going to take these 2 edges and start bringing them down to form the bridge of the nose. As we form around the bottom of the nose, we want to again think about how the change in the surface really does affect the overall flow of everything on the face. So then from there, we're going to take that set of edges and bridge them across to that set of edges. So we'll grab the bridge tool, get it out of the way so we can see, and we'll decrease the number of segments. I'll actually leave it at 2. So that means I'm going to need another set of segments here. So we'll shift select there. We'll go to connect, make sure that we just have a single set. So we'll okay that. And then I can target weld one vertex to another to start closing things up. Here we're going to end up with a triangle, but we'll end up fixing that in a bit. So we need to start looking again at edges along the side here that we can bridge down to other spots. So this one will bridge to here, and then this one will bridge to here. So if we turn on bridge, we'll see that we get a nice connection there. We want to turn off segments. So we'll okay that, look around at that at the side. That works pretty well. And then again, we'll grab here. That's a big poly bridging up to a small polygon. So we'll hit it, but we need to look around and start to think about how this is going to work as we look at connecting things in here. So surface-wise, I want to connect these 2 polygons together because it's going to maintain the surface of the face. So what we can do, under polygon, we can use create. So we're going to create a polygon that fits right into this triangle. And then from there, we can go to edge, we can grab these 2 edges, and we can bridge there. And then we can go to border, grab this opening right there, and cap it. So now we've got a couple triangles, but that will be just fine, at least for now. All right, so from there, we're going to go and look at this entire set of edges right there. And if we connect right through there, we'll end up with a much better flow. We'll cancel that and actually use flow connect. All right, so flow connect adds in the smoothness interpolated between surrounding polygons. All right, so after this, we'll move on to more of the face, structuring the nostril, and continuing underneath the lip.